Cancer, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-April 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Cancer Collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Cancer Collective in mid-April? We're still in Aries season at the time of this filming. Let's see what energies, messages, insights we could take a little peek at. And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card, and we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Cancer in mid-April. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. There we go. Cool. So I haven't seen this card in months and months, and sometimes it comes out in waves. There's a complexity to it, even though it seems very simple. And I don't dislike the card by any means, but there's just a lot of moving parts underneath the system. That's how this always reads to me. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the April subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about this card. So lots of imagery packed into that small card, right? We have this woman that seems to be looking into a mirror. There are multiple reflections, and it looks like she's holding a mask. There's all these different implements all over the desk there. There's like the little Russian stacking dolls. So to me, it seems pretty inconspicuous, right? Like not much is going on. Everyday regular business happening here. But there's a lot, right? When we look at the Russian nesting dolls, the babushkas, it's always layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So for some cancers, the situations you might be dealing with from the outside looking in may seem very simple, seem very cut and dry, but in reality, underneath the surface, it gets more complex and more complex and more complex. Keep getting like it's not that easy. That's how this shows up. Now, aside from complexity, for some cancers, maybe your focus is just in a lot of different places, right? Like with all these items, aside from, with the whole complexity being a part of it, it's like my attention is here and here and here. I have a lot on my plate. That's the best way to put it when I see this card. So busy isn't bad, but the energy does seem a little bit scattered in multiple directions. So we're just going to put her down right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for the beautiful Cancer Collective guide spirit team. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading because it was very unique. The reading was titled Beware of This Person. Now, it didn't necessarily feel like someone was out there to get you, but I was definitely picking up someone that may have been loose-lipped, where either they said something they didn't mean to say, dropped a little info they didn't mean to drop, or you give someone a piece of information and they gossip it around. Like it did feel very loose-lipped and gossipy. So just watch out for that. That energy could bleed over for a couple weeks, but we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for Cancer in mid-April. What do we got? Let's get these cards out nice for you. Cool. Lots of people. Lots of people. Okay. Starting off, we got the beautiful Queen of Wands, and she popped out with, it seems to be her partner in crime, so to speak. We got the Queen of Cups right there in the center. So look at them. They're just looking at each other. All right, let's get one more here. Feels very people-y for some reason. Okay. And as I say that, another people shows up. So I'm not sure if you're dealing with some group things, a lot of people involved, or if this is a group dynamic thing we're picking up. But again, it doesn't just have to be people, but the fact that we got 3 court cards in the first row, that does say a lot. Now, let's go through and I'll give you the classical meanings and archetypes. But before we do that, first look, first glance, I always like to look at the elements. And in the positive sense, we have some nice elemental mixture. I always say when we have too much of one element, it could get lopsided, right? So we got fire, water, and air. Cool. Now, these could be different areas of life. These could be all different situations, and they affect energy in a lot of different ways. Whereas when it comes to fire, that's the realm of action. So the things that you do, the things that other people do, the things that you want to do. When I look at fire, I think of energy levels. whether you're feeling high or feeling low. I think of health and wellness, vitality. That's a big thing with fire. Motivation, passion, drive, and desire. So fire can be very good if carnalized the right way. The downside to fire is that it can be a little explosive, right? Like sometimes fire looks like it's going one way, and then it takes a little turn on you. So that's something we want to watch out for. In the middle, we have your power element. We have the water, which is beautiful, especially in a Cancer reading. So, water is the realm of interpersonal relationships and emotion, things that we care deeply for, things, people, situations that we're emotionally invested in. So, we do have some of that depth showing up here with the water element. Water is great for creativity, imagination. It's very expressive. So, again, for some of you, whether it's artistic expression or just expression in general, I like it. The only downside to water is sometimes it could be overwhelming, right? Especially since it's so deep emotionally. Like, watch out for emotional overwhelm. And water is always waxing and waning. Something could look one way 1 second, and then a couple hours later, totally different. So we'll keep an eye. On the back end here, we have air, totally different than the rest, but it is another internal energy. So it's like we have the outer, and then these two are the internal. Now, when it comes to air, that's matters of the mind. So we got the heart and mind. Air is very logical, very pragmatic. It's straightforward, to the point, honest, shrewd type of energy. It's strong when it comes to strategy and planning, gaining information, absorbing information. It's great for learning new things and expression. The downside to air, it can be cold, it can be aloof, and it can be detached, sometimes with a bit of a sharp tongue. So you see what I mean? We have like the whole gamut here. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the beautiful Queen of Wands. Now, these two right here in the front, they're going to have some similarities because queens in tarot represent the internal aspect of the suit. So we did speak about the suits themselves. So when I see the Queen of Wands, if that's not a fire sign, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the Queen of Wands is usually very bold, decisive, confident. It's like a sexy, attractive type of energy, super magnetic. So I usually love the Queen of Wands. She could deal with things like aesthetics and appearances and how people look on the outside. So she's cool, very confident, very bold, just like all the other fire cards. But the downside with the Queen of Wands is sometimes she can be very unpredictable. So whether it's the action she takes or feeling from 1 second to another, there's this fiery switching type of energy that could happen with her that we want to keep a very close eye on. Also, watch for feeling down about yourself too, because she does deal heavily with self confidence. So when I see her, we need to watch out and keep an eye on where our self confidence is, not just how other people think or feel about us, but how do we feel about us. Moving to the center, we have the Queen of Cups. Similar territory, but totally different. This is one of your power cards. Remember, it's not gender specific, male, female, anything in between, doesn't matter. That could be Cancer. So, in my style, it could just tell us something that's coming towards you or what you might be feeling. So, remember, the queens represent the internal aspect of the suit. Water is the emotion. So, when I see the Queen of Cups, it is a double down of that energy. So it's feeling big feelings, it's feeling things extra, it's highly intuitive. It kind of feels things coming before it actually happens. So I like the Queen of Cups for a lot of different things. Again, she's like soft and nurturing and loving and caring. There's a tenderness to the Queen of Cups that I absolutely adore. But the downside to her is sometimes she can suppress too much, bite her tongue, hold it in. I feel something, but I can't say anything about it. And she'll push it down, down, down until eventually, boop, the emotions come forth, right? And it's like an explosion of emotion. So we'll see what's up with her. Moving to the back end, we have the Page of Swords, Watcher of the Tarot deck. Now, that's air sign energy. So we have 3/4 of the whole damn zodiac out here. And wouldn't be surprised if we get the whole zodiac, right? Because it's people, people, people. But the Page of Swords is more of a youthful energy. I always say they represent students and messengers. So it could be a conversation or a talk, especially with all these people are yapping back and forth, unless this is an energy that you're embodying. The Page of Swords is much more defensive. It's very cautious and it is extremely analytical and it's a watcher. So it looks before it leaps. It analyzes before it says something or takes an action. So we have totally different approaches here. Sometimes the Page of Swords will show up when there's something you are keeping an eye on, or when there's something that you should keep an eye on, or maybe you're under the microscope. That could very well be it. The downside with the Page of Swords, it can clam up, right? Like it completely shut down. So like when I see these two together, that's the only risk we're running potentially. But I want to dive deeper on all of it, my friends. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for Cancer, please? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message. which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Queen of Wands. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cancer, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Queen of Wands time. What is she doing here? Why is that queen in the mix? Thank you. Okay. This energy does feel a little bit pushy, which again, I don't see anything wrong with that, but that's just something to watch out for. So we got the 10 of Wands in reverse underneath this Queen of Wands. Now, for some of you, this could actually be really, really great. If you have been going through a time where you feel energetically zapped or tired, or you're going through a situation that's very draining for you, the 10 of Wands in reverse under the Queen of Wands is beautiful. Remember, it's very fiery and it's an energy that pushes and pushes. So it could be both of these messages, it could be one. But to me, it's like I'm unburdening myself with something where it's like, you know what? I was worrying about this so much so long. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. Like it's an energy that kind of frees itself. That's a good thing about it. But the downside, the 10 wands could be very determined, right? It pushes, pushes, pushes. And I am a big believer, especially when choppy waters pop up, that, you know what, sometimes we just got to push through, right? But when I see it in reverse underneath this Queen of Wands, it's like, yeah, push through, but this energy is pushing too hard. It's doing too much at once. So I think at this point, somebody might be overloading their plate or trying to do too much too quick. So I'm getting this energy here where it's like, simplify it, put it into like little digestible pieces, whatever it might be, because we've been getting this since the beginning that for a lot of cancers or cross watchers, there could be a very complex situation or a lot of moving parts to something where it's like, let's just simplify it and put it in digestible chunks. Like you don't have to push, 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 push until you have nothing left, right? So watch out for that. If you're dealing with a person that's like a little too pushy or aggressive, um, there's this energy here that just says like you need to pace it, like not all at once, little by little. So simplify and bring it down a notch. But again, for some of you, this could be like a bounce back type of energy as well. So again, depends on your situation. We're going to keep moving. Energy's has a little aggressiveness to it, but we're going to see what the Queen of Cups has. So why is that beautiful Queen of Cups here, please? We got the Queen of Cups. Thank you. Very observant, extremely, extremely observant. Okay, not even with what we have going on here. So we have the Chariot in reverse. This is like an energy that's either going on vacation or needs a break or a vacation potentially. So we have the Chariot, which is your power card, showing up in reverse. Usually the Chariot, it's fast, it's pushing, it's zipping around here, there, and everywhere. Right. So again, we have this similar theme about pushing it, but not pushing it too hard, needing time to rest and recuperate and rejuvenate. But to me, just like the vibe I'm picking up, it's like observing, watching. The Queen of Cups with the Chariot in reverse, it's like, I'm going to wait before I do something. I'm going to think before I act. So, like, I do see impending action, but what I get most of is a lot of watching, a lot of observing. So, again, whether it's Spirit saying to you, Cancer, like, hey, Cancer, just keep an eye on it, take this seriously, keep it under your microscope, or maybe that's someone that's got you under the microscope. It could be very possible. Like there's just a lot of observing going on where it's like stop, watch, and listen. That's how I'm picking this up. Now, sometimes the Chariot could represent things stopping when it shows up in reverse. Sometimes it could represent things looping back around, so like reliving cycles or things returning. We're going to look and see when we get to this page. But we do have a very strong theme here of like stopping or just like slowing something down in a very big way. Just like slow it down, simplify it. And there's this watching, there's like this surveillance happening. So we're going to put the Chariot right there, my good friends. Yeah, maybe some of you just need a little vacay, right? A little time off to take the load off, because that's just how that feels to me. Let's go in on the Page of Swords. We'll see what that has. And we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the Page of Swords here? I was picking up something very similar to this. I think it was the Aquarius reading, where there's just like so much observing going on. Like we see the action, we see the drive, we see the push, but there's something here. Let's see what the page has. Could this be a talk or a conversation potentially? So why is this page here, please? Thank you. Okay. So I do get a good result in the end, but there is something that needs more attention. So it's odd that we have like this energy where it's like, just keep observing, watching. There's a good result here coming in for a lot of you, especially with the Six of Wands. But to me, I think I got something very similar a couple weeks ago where there's like a conversation of importance that needs to be had, where it's like, no, just don't brush this under the rug. Uh, Address it. Maybe don't address it right away, but there is a bridge that needs to be crossed. There is something that needs to be discussed at some point. That's how it feels. Now, I'll explain to you my reasoning and my intuition here. Six of Wands is a card of complete and total victory. So even with what we saw throughout here, like push, but don't push too hard, stop, watch, and listen, then boom, this energy here just seems to work itself out. So do I see a win, victory? Absolutely, especially in the end. We could even call it a payoff. But the Six of Wands, aside from victory, is a card of attention. It's got eyes on. So we have this energy where there's a lot of observing, there's a lot of watching. So underneath this page, there's like, no, there's something that needs to be dissected. There's a topic that needs to be dissected, whether it's a very important talk or message or a serious one, which I think we saw a couple weeks ago. It's in a very similar vein where it's like, I mean, you could delay it, you could push it back a little bit, but at some point, something needs to be discussed. It's important for every party involved. That's how this feels to me. Again, aside from the conversation, there's a very good result coming in for a lot of you, especially with the page where it's kind of like, yeah, no, here, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. So I love the end result, even if like up here it seems like it's not going to happen. But yeah, there is a talk of importance, especially like with all these people and all this observing. Just watch out for knee jerk reactions. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. If you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the Queen of Wands with the Ten of Wands in reverse. The energy did feel a little pushy, so just watch out for anyone that's like a little too action oriented or a little too much pressure involved. I'm a big believer that when there's tough times, that sometimes we do just got to grit it out and keep pushing through it. Um, but it's important to simplify something and pace yourself too. I don't know why that's coming through. Like, don't tire yourself out. Don't blow all your energy. Where it's like, just simplify it piece by piece. You don't have to do it all at once. Moving here to the center, we have the Queen of Cups with the Chariot in reverse. Someone needing a break, taking a break, a little vacation. That's very possible with this energy we have here. Um, Very observant. So again, like all this energy here on the back end, it's like stop, watch, and listen. So I'm not sure if that's something you're doing or somebody else. Could be both for all I know. But moving to the back end, we have the Page of Swords with the Six of Wands. Now, this again could be a big win, victory coming in the end, where something just needs to go through what it needs to go through. But for another portion of you, it does feel like a talk of importance or seriousness, where it's like either a message or a talk where it's like we have to touch base on this, or it's something that needs to be discussed, that it needs attention, that it shouldn't be swept under the rug. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got for Cancer? What do we got? There we go. Thank you. All right. So we have Temperance here. And Temperance is good because it's spiritual protection. Usually in most tarot decks, it's depicted by the Archangel Michael, big Sagittarius energy here. And if you know anything about Saggy energy, it likes to move, right? It's like moving and shaking, right? Very similar to this Queen of Wands in the front. So Temperance, if we're not looking at spiritual protection, which for some of you, maybe it's just reassurance that, hey, you're not alone. Hey, you are protected. That's a good thing. That's very reassuring. But Temperance is all about patience. So for some cancers in this time, maybe there's a situation where you don't have much more patience, right? Maybe you have been very patient. Um, I don't want to say that Spirit's telling you to be patient, but the big shadow side of Temperance feels like it's not making progress. So that's just something to watch out for. Not saying that you're going to be impatient with every little thing, but sometimes Temperance can feel a little bit stuck, even if it truly isn't. So just know that, like, you might feel stuck, but you're probably really not. Um, so we're just going to put it down right there. Or maybe there is something that you need to trim back. That's very possible. But we're going to let them chill right there, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet. I'm going to give you the details of the April subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. But for the April subscriber surprise, we're doing a nice winner's choice once again. At the end of the month, I will choose 3 lucky subscribers to either win their choice of the Gilded Tarot Royale or one of the custom made crystal pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So, winner's choice. And if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, you can let me know down in the comments, how much do you know about the meanings of tarot cards? Are you an expert reader? Are you a beginner, intermediate? Do you know a lot? Do you know a little? You'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my posts tab. YouTube changed it. And yeah, that's where it'll be, my friends. Much love, and I'll talk to you soon.